just putting my camera away for now to keep it safe. I'm on pretty steep ground, so I don't really want to risk wandering off and coming back to find that my tripod has fallen over. So that's one of the downsides of a tripod. But in this episode today, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I continue to use tripods for pretty much 99% of my photography, and why I would always advocate getting the tallest tripod you possibly can. There's been a couple of articles I've read recently or seen online as well, where people have been kind of extolling the virtues of tripods, or the opposite, maybe talking about why they don't feel they're necessarily the best thing for a photographer. But for me, the best thing for me is that I've just had my camera set up, and I've set up a composition which I'm not going to be photographing for at least another hour. And the light is really, really harsh right now, so I'm not particularly interested in taking other photos either, because it's lots of brittle, harsh, strongly lit rock in every direction, plus a very strong, bright sun reflection out over the sea here. But when I want to put my camera back on, it's going to be exactly the same as it was when I took it off. And that's the key thing for me, is just to be able to come back to here and plonk my camera in exactly the same spot and not worry about the composition having changed. I'm here on Anglesey. Did I mention this is South Stack Lighthouse? Yes, so South Stack Lighthouse on Holyhead. I'm staying on Anglesey this week. I'm actually dog sitting, and so I'm staying at my sister's house. She lives here, and I'm looking after her dogs while she's away. And that gives me a perfect opportunity to come and photograph some of the places that I haven't been to, such as this, since I was about 10 years old. So getting on for 50 years ago was the last time I came here. I've been down the steps and back already just to check out my fitness. I think for me, the shot I want to take is from here. So I'm going to sit and relax and grab a drink and just enjoy the beautiful weather. So while I'm here today, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about why I like to use such a tall tripod. I'll give you an idea here of how tall this can actually go. I've taken the centre column out. I don't use the centre columns on tripods just because I don't like the lack of stability that brings. But this is the tripod as it is without the column. So that would already mean that the camera is, I'm 6'4", so we're looking at a camera maybe being 7'4" off the ground. And why would you want a camera that tall? Obviously, if you're doing commercial photography, you might need to get the camera high to look at things, but essentially when you're standing on steep ground, you are high, and so you will always need to put a leg down the slope from where you are, so you're going to need a long leg. In an ideal world, I'd love to have a tripod where it had 3 sections on 2 of the legs and then a 4 section on 1 of the legs. As it is at the moment, if I want to take a photograph in this direction, if I put the legs down the hill slightly, so the 2 long legs are extended fully, and here we are with the camera at head height, simply because I'm able to extend those legs down the slope. And I actually bought this tripod about 8 years ago to photograph Ironbridge Power Station. It's now been demolished, but I found a really, really good shot I wanted to take underneath with all the water pouring down between all the concrete beams. I'll just stick that picture in the video as well. But it was a really important image for me. I knew the cooling towers were going to be demolished, and I wanted to get that shot before they were decommissioned. And there was a fence in the way, so I wanted to get a really, really tall tripod so I could stand on a steep bank and look down over the fence underneath the cooling towers. So I've had this tripod for about 8 years, and it's served me really, really well. As tripods go, it's way, way less expensive than the Gitzo I had before. I think the equivalent Gitzo would probably be £800 or £900, whereas these are around about 400, excluding the head. And this is a geared head, also by Benro. So the whole kit here is Benro, and primarily that is because it's good and strong, and it's not too expensive for the build quality. I'd just like to add the caveat that I'm not being paid or sponsored by Benro to say any of this stuff. With regards to equipment, I use what I like, and I like what I use. So I'll release an episode soon about all the equipment that I actually use when I'm out and about and why I use it. And you'll see here that it's common practice for me to really, having set up a composition and found the image that I think is probably the strongest image, I'll probably then spend at least another 5 or 10 minutes wandering around the area in the possibility of finding something better. If there is a chance there's a better shot, obviously it makes sense to go and set up for that one. But my camera, of course, is ready to go on the best composition I found so far. So obviously here we are at South Stack, and we've got obviously the dramatic cliffs here, probably, I'm trying to guesstimate here, 80 to 100 meters, maybe a bit higher than that actually. I'll need to check out my facts on that one. But in the horizon, if you can just about make it out, is the Llyn Peninsula. So I can see, which you won't be able to see, but over here, if I can get my finger in the right place, around about here is Bardsey Island, and obviously the lower western end of the peninsula, and at this end here, the rivals around Trevor and Nevin, that kind of area, on the north coast of the Llyn Peninsula. And then obviously this direction, excuse the sun, South Stack Lighthouse, and beyond that in the far horizon, hopefully generating enough cloud to make the sky interesting later on, is Ireland. So I think if we were looking straight out to sea now, most of the cloud will probably evaporate away, but the fact is that just beyond that horizon is land again, and I'm hoping that that's going to put a little bit of colour in there at the finish in about an hour and 20 minutes time. It's a great spot though. So the current composition includes these rocks, then all the snaking curves, and obviously out to around about there. Oh, that's a bit of an angle, there you go. So there's no sky in this particular picture, no need to grad, everything's held quite nicely by the camera. There's a little tiny, that dark hole where the bridge crosses on, it's very dark down there, but shadow recovery on these cameras is absolutely phenomenal. Far better to recover shadows than to try and recover something that's too bright. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes to go until sunset. I'm now feeling a little bit more confident, maybe. Oh, actually, no, having had another look, maybe I'm not. There's that cloud might just win this race, but as it is, I've taken a shot already. I'd like ideally to swing my view slightly to the left, just to get the lighthouse more to the right of the frame. I can't do that right now because of the brightness of the sun out of that side of the picture, but in essence, really, what I want to do compositionally is, if I just turn this way slightly, let's just keep turning, you get an idea beyond more on that side of the frame. So we'll see what happens in another 10 minutes. Once the sun goes down, that's not an issue anymore, but as it is at the moment, it's not going to work. But I think that would be a better composition, a better balance across the frame diagonally from bottom left to top right. The light here on the rocks at the moment is beautiful and warm, absolutely gorgeous. So that looks like it's set to continue right the way through to the end. It's just whether that cloud and the sun meet before the sun actually goes underneath the horizon. True to form. Can't take any photos right now because I've got people in the shop. Okay, so the cloud definitely won that race. In actual fact, it was all the way along the horizon, just couldn't see it behind the light. So the sun has now gone into the bank of cloud. I'm going to stay here and see what happens in blue hour, which is, well, not blue hour, I think I might give myself blue half an hour this evening, and just wait and see if I get any long exposures, and a bit of moving water down there would be very nice indeed. At the moment I've got about 6 people keeping me company, so can't do an awful lot, but I think I'll be on my own again in maybe another 5-10 minutes. am really just waiting now until I'm on about half-second exposures, but I'd like them to get to a point where they're maybe 2-second exposures. There's a slight tugging breeze, which could be an issue, but what I really want to capture is the actual phased flashing of the lighthouse. Now it seems to be flashing every 2 seconds for around about 1/4 of a second, so I'll need a longish exposure to make sure I capture that light happening. But I really like the way these tops of these walls at the moment are really bouncing back the light, they're reflecting the light from above, so that's working really nicely. I'm definitely going to call it a day now. I think what I'm going to do is just clamber back over this wall. I've got to walk back up here. The car's only a couple of 100 metres away up there, so that's no effort at all. Probably accounts for this place being one of the more popular scenes to photograph around the UK, because it's literally within a couple of 100 metres of a car. But yeah, what a great spot. Really, really beautiful. For the most of the afternoon and evening, I've had the whole place to myself. And again, it's one of those places very hard to drag yourself away from. It's just so beautiful here. I think that cloud is possibly what's coming in tomorrow. We're due to have 40 to 50 mile an hour winds here tomorrow, so I shall probably spend the day at my computer and edit what I've photographed this evening.